Hi, my name is Chris Cox, and I'm the minister to youth and their families, and this is this morning's 9 at 9. Like a lot of people with kids, our family is getting suggestions from their school about ways that we can help continue their education during the season that we're in. We're getting lots of math handouts, social studies projects, spelling and vocab lists, etc. And we're finding out that we're even getting stuff from their PE teacher. Normally at their school at the end of April, they have a 1-mile fun run, and students spend the month leading up to that logging the miles that they run or jog in preparation for the race. And so their PE teacher said that we could still do that, even though the race might not happen, probably won't happen. We can still log the miles and keep them healthy. I thought this was a great idea because I am a runner, and so I'm happy to take them outside to jog or walk or whatever. And they desperately need to go outside to be active. They may disagree with that assessment, but true words have never been spoken. Kids need to go outside and get their energy out. And so a week or two ago, we go to a local park that has a paved loop. It's five laps for 1 mile. They brought their little Gatorade bottles, and we were going to jog a lap and then walk a lap and jog a lap and walk a lap and jog a lap. It was going to be great. And before we started, the one thing I told them is that the most important thing to remember is to pace yourself, that you can't run as fast as you can and hold on to that pace for a whole mile. And I said, I'll go whatever pace that you want to go, but we just got to pace ourselves. Just don't go flying out as fast as you can. So naturally we start, and one of them just goes charging out of the gate, like little arms and legs just pumping as fast as they can, and the other jogs a bit, and then they slow down to a walk. And so suddenly I am in the middle of these children, who I love, and have told that I'm going to go their pace, and they are going wildly different paces. And it's very difficult to do that. And so I'm like running ahead and, talking to one, and then I'm turning around and jogging backwards and talking to the other. And then I'm turning around yelling 6 feet at one because there's a jogger coming there and we need to keep our space because of social distancing. And it was just really difficult. And we eventually got on the same page pace-wise. Well, maybe not the same page, but we were at least within the same chapter. But it was difficult to try to run the same pace as two people who were running paces that were completely in opposition to each other. During the season, and honestly in life in general, we are pulled in multiple directions concerning our pace of life. Right now, in this season that we're in, some of us feel the pressure to be super productive. We've got to learn how to play guitar, and we've got to write the next great American novel, or we've got to do at-home ab crunches until we have Captain America level body physique and stuff like that. And then on the other end of the spectrum, others of us feel that we need to slow down. Maybe we feel like we want to choose to slow down, or the circumstances of life are making us feel like that we just have to slow down because the world is such a heavy place right now. And we just cannot possibly do all the things. And some of us are probably in the middle where we feel yanked around by these different forces in our life, whether it be by a job or whether by kids or whether by societal pressures. Like we feel like we're stopping and going fast and going slow, and it's a lot to take in right now. All of this is the season and life in general is not a sprint, but it's a marathon. And actually, marathon's probably not the right term for it because in a marathon, you at least know how long the race is going to be. This is like showing up at a race and asking, hey, how long's this race? And someone saying, oh, who knows? It could be a 5K or it could be 500 miles. Have fun. And that's difficult to do. And so pacing yourself is all the more important because of that. So some days you may feel like that you can take on the entire world. And some days taking a shower might seem like an epic victory. And all of that is okay. When I was talking to my sons about pace before we ran the other day, I told them that I don't care how fast you run. All that matters to me is that you try. Do your best, which is what I think a lot of our parents told us. But I think that's important. Some days, just trying is the best victory we could possibly have. So all of this is well and good. But simply trying can sometimes seem impossible. Like I said, it's a heavy world, and some days just trying is tough. We need people to have our back. We need people to support us if we want to be able to put one foot in front of the other. So when I was in high school, I ran the 800 meters in track, and it is a certifiably insane race of 2 laps in which you run as fast as you possibly can. In my junior year, I was running the 4x800 relay race in the county meet, and I didn't want to let my relay teammates down, so I left it all down the track. I went as fast as I possibly could. And then after the race, I literally left everything else out on the infield. And my dad would follow me around, and he was tearing up paper cups and putting them down on the places that I vomited so that no one would step into my vomit. Like, I was just miserable. It was like late April. It was hot. It was humid in South Carolina, and I felt miserable. I just had nothing left in the tank. But I had another race left, the solo 800 later on in the meet, and I wasn't sure if I was going to do it. And thankfully, my family, my coach, my teammates, they didn't put any sort of pressure on me, like, oh, you have to do this. You're not part of this team. You're not good enough if you try this. But they let me know that, whatever I was able to do, that was okay, just as long as I was doing what I felt like I could do. And so later on in the meet, I felt good enough that I wanted to at least try. And I didn't win the race. I didn't place in the race. I didn't even probably run one of my 10 best times in that race. But there was a deep satisfaction in knowing that I was simply putting one foot in front of another when it seemed impossible earlier on. Whatever pace you go, people have your back. Family, friends, this church has your back, and we're here for you, cheering you on whatever you do. And more than that, you have a God of infinite love who is there for you, always, at all times. Regardless of whether you're doing all these amazing things or if you can barely get out of bed, God is there for you and by your side. One of my favorite verses in the Bible is Isaiah 40, 28 through 31. It says, "Have you not heard? Have you not known? The Lord is the everlasting God, the creator of the ends of the earth. He does not faint or grow weary. His understanding is unsearchable. He gives power to the faint and strengthens the powerless. Even youths will faint and be weary, and the young will fall exhausted. But those who wait for the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings like eagles. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not faint." There are going to be some days where you feel like that you can soar with the eagles, and God is with you in that. There are going to be those days where you feel like you can run and do all these things, and God will be with you in that. But there are days where all you feel like you can do is walk, and even then you feel like you might faint. And God is with you in the midst of that. You just have to realize that God's there. It says those who wait on the Lord. So it means those who seek the Lord, those who acknowledge the Lord. God is always there for you and always loves you no matter what. And so that is my encouragement to you today, because this is a weird season and we're in a lot of different places. But I want you to know that it doesn't matter what pace you go. You don't have to try everything. But I do want you to try whatever you can do, and know that this church has your back, is supporting you and cheering you on. But even more, there's this infinite God who's created the heavens and the earth, who's greater than we could ever imagine, and who loves you more than you possibly can imagine, is there with you. Whether you can soar, whether you can run, whether you can barely walk, God is with you. Have a great day.